Um, so y'all, I mean, this is giving really one of those moments in America where we are just not surprised anymore, right? We're not surprised. We are considerably outraged, but we're talking about two mass shootings that happened back to back, right? We're talking about a mass shooting that happened in Buffalo, New York, where where an 18-year-old gunman took an AR-15 assault rifle, the most popular assault rifle used in mass shootings here in America. It's the most popular gun. It's the favorite murder weapon of all mass shootings in the United States. And he decides that when he turns 18, despite having cited mental health issues, that he wants to target Black people while they're going to the grocery store. So we're not safe in grocery stores. We're not safe in our churches. And we damn sure ain't safe in schools. And we have to have a longer conversation about this, you guys, because so quickly things in our media and our news cycle just move. And it's just like, we gave that a week. Buffalo is done. Ain't nobody talking about it. And we haven't even buried these people yet. Not really. I think some of the funerals happened today. We should be so outraged. I mean, we watched an 8-minute video of George Floyd being murdered by a police officer, and the world turned up. Politicians turned over. Artists turned over. Actors turned over. Celebrities turned over. People poured money and infused capital into all of these movements to see radical reform, to see justice be served in this moment. But what's going to happen when we look at these mass shootings? Okay. Now let's talk about some of these statistics, you guys, because I mean, you guys know what's going on. You guys know what happened at Robb Elementary School, but there was an article in NPR, you guys, and it cited that there were 27 school shootings just in 2022. It's May. It's May. We are 5 months into 2022. And if you want to say 6 months, because it's about to be June. 27 school shootings in 2022. We've had 212 mass shootings in general. We gotta have a better conversation about what's happening. Why are we not outraged the same way? We gotta stop allowing the news cycle to determine what is important to us. We should be stopping in our tracks. I want to run a clip really quick of Senator Murphy, and he asked the most important question, and that's, what are we doing? Let's play that and come back.
Mr. President, there are 14 kids dead in an elementary school in Texas right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a grocery store to gun down African American patrons, we have another Sandy Hook on our hands. What are we doing? There have been more mass shootings than days in the year. Our kids are living in fear every single time they set foot in a classroom because they think they're going to be next. What are we doing? Why do you spend all this time running for the United States Senate? Why do you go through all the hassle of getting this job, of putting yourself in a position of authority, if your answer is that as this slaughter increases, as our kids run for their lives, we do nothing? What are we doing? Why are you here? If not to solve a problem as existential as this.
And now the question has to sit on the people, because we have elected people, the president, our senators, our governors. We are in the midterm election right now, and Governor Abbott's seat is up for grabs. In the state of Texas and the Republicans in Texas, you guys, I mean, God forbid they continue to sit around and do their song and dance, because their solution to the problem clearly doesn't work. I mean, Governor Abbott told you that him and Senator Cruz's solution was that they need to have more school resource officers with guns. Guess what? There were 2 school police officers at Robb Elementary School that made contact, as per the words of Governor Abbott, that made contact with the 18-year-old shooter. It didn't stop him. He made it to the back of the school. They also tell you that we need to tackle this mental health crisis. Well, guess what? The Buffalo shooter was 18 years old, and it was highlighted that he did have mental health issues, but that it didn't make it to an illegal level, so there were no red flags. That's not the solution. We keep having this conversation about AR-15s, you guys. It's the number one favorited, most popular murder weapon for murderers who want to commit mass shootings. It's the number one thing. Both of these shooters were 18 years old, and you know what they wanted for their birthday? An AR-15 assault rifle. And you know what else they wanted? High capacity magazine clips. And so in the state of Texas, and in many states like Texas, they want to protect the rights of 18-year-old and older to be able to go out and get AR-15 assault rifles, not just to go and do and shoot deer, but so that they can commit mass shootings. They want to make sure that that is legal, that is their legal freaking right to go do it. Now, that's not just going to solve the issue if we just say, okay, we're just going to pull all the AR-15s, but we need to come up with a collective, solid issue. Where is the outrage and what are we doing? Republicans want to continue, and unfortunately, this is a political issue, right? Because this is how things are happening. These are how things are happening, right? And a part of the political issue is that we need to ban high capacity magazines. At Robb Elementary School, the gunman went in there with 210 bullets. He has 7 high capacity magazines. 7. He had 210 bullets to go to somebody's head. What are we doing? What are we doing at home? What are we doing when we're having our conversation with our kids? This is a child that had to go and live with his grandmother because him and his mother couldn't get along. He killed his grandmother. I mean, if we're not outraged at the fact that the boy killed his grandmother, let alone the fact that he killed 19 kids and 2 teachers, he killed his grandmother. I mean, at what point are we outraged enough to say, you know what? God damn it, there's nothing more important than figuring out how do we solve this issue. Gun violence is a major, monumental number one issue right here in America. Mass shootings happen here. They happen here. So what is it that we have to do? Because I remember in 2020 when it was the perfect storm and everyone wanted to fall out of their seat because they saw a black man be killed by the police, and it finally said, you know what? God damn it, I'm tired of it. But you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of seeing headlines where 58 people were killed and 850 were injured. That's the Las Vegas shooting of the Route 91 festival in 2017. At Pulse nightclub in 2016, 49 people were killed and 50 were injured. At Virginia Tech, back in 2007, 32 people were killed and 23 were injured. At school, and a gunman just took off on campus. Sandy Hook, everyone keeps wanting to talk about Sandy Hook. That's 27 people that were dead, and 90% of them were ages 6 to 7 years old. Where is the outrage? First Baptist Church in Texas, another mass shooting in Texas, 26 people dead and 22 injured. Not to mention, we just had Walmart. We were just scared to go to Walmart. 23 people were dead in Walmart and 23 injured in El Paso, Texas, where a gunman targeted immigrants because of the politicalization that we see on TV. What are we doing? I got a clip from Coach Kerr that I want to play for you guys. I really like that he used his platform to discuss this. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is the coach of the Golden State Warriors. And I love this clip because for somebody in his position, I feel like he finally decided to use his platform to say, I'm good about talking about the team. Let's talk about this. Let's play this and we'll come back.
I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here. And a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California. Now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like.
Thank you, Coach Kerr, for saying it plainly. I mean, there's legislation that's been sitting for years. We don't have 60 votes, y'all. We don't have the 60 that we need. There's been some news headlines talking about bulletproof backpacks. And it's not to say that these bulletproof backpacks would have saved anybody in the recent shootings. But the mere fact that we're talking about sending our children to school with a bulletproof backpack means we need to have a larger conversation about something. Let's show the overlay really quick. Sales of bulletproof backpacks spiked almost 300% following the school shooting in Texas this week, and in El Paso and in Dayton, Ohio. Yet none of the backpacks currently on the market would have stopped a single rifle round coming from those gunmen. The bulletproof backpacks themselves have an insert where students where students can basically like protect themselves. So there's a mechanism that can hold off a round. I don't know, y'all. I mean, is that what we come to as far as solutions go? You know, I think Leon's comment about, the perfect storm, about everyone just kind of being fed up about being locked down and needing to blow off the steam was the perfect storm when George Floyd happened. And yet we still don't have any legislation that passed for that shit. And there's not enough outrage. And what happens is when the people stop pushing and the machine never breaks down. Who brought up the machine? Arlo. Arlo says, we have to stand up to the war machine. The same companies selling weapons to militaries around the world are among the ones pushing machine guns into our streets. And not even just machine guns, handguns. How about ghost guns? Because while we're also having a conversation about mass shootings, we also need to have a conversation about what the hell is happening on the block. There was a homicide on my street yet again this afternoon. We should not have to be in fear of going to the grocery store, of going to school, of going to church, of taking a jog to the gym, of whether or not I can hang out outside. We need to have these conversations at home with one another. How are we raising our kids? Why are we not holding each other accountable? 18 years old is a baby. We need to be stepping in. Where's our mentors? Y'all need to check in. I know I'm checking in. Check their phones, follow them on social media. All of this stuff been posted on social media. The boy done told you where I shot my grandmother. I'm on my way to go shoot up the school. We need to tap in. We need to tap in. The school shooting that recently happened where they were charging the parents, tap in. Nobody's checking his book bag. The boy's talking about killing himself. We're not connected. Harry Jefferson says we are now in fear of collectively in our own community without strong leadership in this country. We don't even know our neighbors. We don't even know our neighbors. It used to be a time where we would go and hang out at the neighbor's house where the neighbor could have some say-so about what you were and were not doing. You can't even check anybody's kids anymore. The authority amongst kids is gone. We need to bring back some of these old ways. There's too much saturation on the internet, on the TV, and daily conversation that's toxic, that's flooding into the minds of these young people, and they're making these crazy decisions. We need to tap in. We need our parents. We need our churches. We need our communities. We need to stand together, and we need to lead our kids out of this toxic behavior. There's a lot going on. Now, that's not going to catch everything, right? It's not going to catch everything. But I mean, that's a part of the solution right there. Because if you can stop it in your household, if everyone could just stop it in their own household, that's going to stop something else. And it may not be a mass shooter, but it could be somebody who shoots another kid or who makes the decision that they want to stab somebody at school, because that's happening too. Violence is ripping rampant. I mean, we're watching Young Thug right now doing a RICO charge. He's about to go do 20 years. You think there's not going to be some retaliation that comes after that? Like, let us not be stupid. It doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. This is the most predictable thing on TV right now. Robb Elementary School is not new. And it's going to happen again and again and again and again. And are we going to sit here again and be shocked? How many tears can we cry? How many moments of silence can we have? How many times can we sit back and talk about this shit on a podcast until we finally do something? I don't know. It's a lot going on. And I don't think there's one solution. I think we need to offer some type of wraparound service, right? It is talking about mental health. It is talking about positive parenting. It is talking about taking guns off the street. It is talking about, increasing background checks. It is talking about banning high capacity magazines. It is talking about banning AR-15 assault rifles. It's all of that. It's all of that collectively. Because guess what? We don't need to bury another 19 kids, 2 teachers, and a grandmother. We don't need to bury another 10 Black people in the ground. Ages 20 to 86, we buried multiple grandmothers. It's a number of solutions, just like John Jupiter said, and we need to do all of them. When it comes to cleaning house, y'all, that's how we clean house. We need to do it collectively. There's so many things that need to happen. And if we don't do everything, right? Because what happens is we do one thing and it doesn't solve the root of the problem. When you don't get the root, it grows back. Harry Jefferson says, "You took the words out of my mouth, Jules. Sadly enough, these mass shootings bear clones, and sadly enough, another mass shooting will happen very soon. Maybe not before the next show. Maybe never before your next show." Yeah, I mean, let's hope not. But I mean, we talked about Buffalo for the last 2 weeks, and now we're still talking about it. Oh my God, John Jupiter, I forgot all about that. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but today it has been reported that one of the teachers who was murdered in the Robb Elementary School shooting, the husband passed away today from a heart attack. That is so heartbreaking. And to me, it just speaks to that it's such a true thing that you can die from a broken heart. He was married to his wife for 24 years. That's a casualty in all of this too, right? I mean, now we have 19 children, 2 teachers, 1 grandmother, 1 husband. People's lives are gone. We have to do something, and we need to figure out what that looks like. So as you guys go to your voting polls this month, right? For us here in DC, it's June 21st. All my DC watchers, please read up on your candidates. Read up, do your research, know who you are, know who your elected officials are, and know how to get in contact with them. And don't just stop after they make it. Okay? Do the work. I tell people all the time, it's hard being a constituent. There's a lot of work to put in. But there's real people who advocate all the time to the office. When they want to see legislation passed, guess what? They galvanize. And Mama Harriet, I think you can testify to this. Back in the day, more people would galvanize much more than they do now. But there's still groups now, okay? Go find your people. When you're passionate about something, we need to all come collectively and be passionate about this, because that's how change happens. So